Greetings and salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today we're going to be reading one of my most anticipated reads of the entire year, and that is Brothersong by TJ Klune. I'm so excited! Okay, so today is October 12th, so Brothersong releases tomorrow. I already pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered it on the Kindle. If you guys are unfamiliar with the Green Creek series, I do have an entire video where I read the first 3 books of the series and I give you guys all my thoughts. I try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible, so I will link that down below. This video is just going to be a reading vlog of me reading the 4th book in the series, that is Carter and Gavin's story. The beginning of the video is just going to be like my emotions and my experience reading the book. You definitely have to read these books in order. It's not like historical romance that you can read out of order. I definitely recommend reading all the books in order. The whole series is connected and it's just beautiful. Book is like the tip-top sirloin of the paranormal genre. A sirloin? Am I really going to compare some books to steak? I don't know. The point is, this is the creme de la creme of werewolf romances. This right here. All 4 books have male-male romances and they're so angsty. Like, if you are someone who likes character-driven stories, you will love this series because you get so attached to all the characters. Not just the main characters, but like the side characters as well. TJ Klune's writing is just fantastic. He gets you invested. All the books are super angsty, but there's something very humorous about the series. Like, all of these books make me laugh, but then in the same time they make me bawl like an absolute baby. I ended up reading this series because of 2 booktubers, 2 of my favorite booktubers, Chandler and Jessica from Peace Love Books. They both raved about the first book and I was like, I need that in my life. And I feel like Chandler describes this series so perfect in her Goodreads review. I'm gonna read it. She says, "Imagine if Bella didn't suck and had chosen the werewolves and was also gay." That's all you need to know about the series, guys. Like, that's the perfect description. Okay, so I'm going to briefly go over the synopsis of the first 3 books. For those of you who haven't read the series, it all starts with Wolfsong, and it starts with Ox, who moves into a town called Green Creek. He is intrigued by his neighbors that live in this house in the forest, and he immediately gets a connection with their youngest brother, Joe. All of the series have a fated mates trope, so if you like that, you will definitely enjoy this series as well. Joe and Ox have a 6-year age gap, but it's not weird. They do definitely start off as friends, and then as they get older, they become, you know, more romantic. You do know that Joe has some traumatizing things in his past and he doesn't talk, not even to his family. And then the day that he sees Ox, he immediately starts talking again and starts becoming more of himself. Super angsty, a perfect way to start the series. The second book is probably my favorite book in the series so far, and that is Ravensong. It follows Gordo and Mark. Gordo is actually a witch and Mark is a werewolf. Knew each other when they were kids and they were kind of like childhood sweethearts, and then they ended up getting separated. Years later, they are back and they have to find their way back to each other. So it's a very, very, very angsty second chance romance. I just love Gordo so much. He's such a grumpy character, but he's so soft and sweet and just makes my heart happy. The third book is Heartsong, and that follows Robbie and Kelly. This one is a little confusing with the way that it starts, and I feel like I can't really talk about the book without giving spoilers. But again, you have that fated mates trope, and it's kind of a second chance romance of the characters finding their way back to each other. Robbie goes through a lot of traumatizing things that tears him away from the pack, and he sort of has to find how he fits with his mate as well as his pack. So it's a little confusing when you first read it, and I don't want to give too many spoilers, but I did love this book. Just know it kind of toggles between like a past timeline and a present timeline. You get a lot of Robbie's memories as he sort of pieces together what happened to him. Still really loved this book too. Kelly is asexual, so you get some ace rep in there. Just flawless TJ Klune writing as always. And then that brings us to the 4th and final book. So sad. And that is Brothersong. It follows Carter and Gavin's story. I'm so excited. I feel so emotions. Like, this series I feel so attached to. Like, just thinking about how much I love these characters, I kind of want to cry. Is that ridiculous? That's ridiculous. Carter is probably like my favorite brother. He's very humorous and he's also very loyal, and I'm just so excited that we're finally getting his romance, especially because it was so hinted at in the 3rd book. The ending of the 3rd book was so beautiful, and I'm really, really excited to see how they find their way back to each other. Okay, that is all. I'm so excited for all of this mystical moon magic. Just like the other books, I really hope we get more of the side characters like Tanner, Chris, and Rico. I love them. They're so funny, and I think they're great characters, especially now that they're all werewolves. So yeah, this is just gonna be a really good time. I'm so excited. Okay. Hello. Sorry for this messy background and awful lighting, but I did forget to mention that if you guys like the Green Creek series, TJ Klune has another book that I just love, and that is called House on the Cerulean Sea. I know I read this book in a video, but I can't remember if it was the Green Creek series video. I'm pretty sure it is. If it's not that video, I will leave the link down below where I read that book, but it's so freaking good. If you like fantasy books, this is like the perfect book for you. There's our main character who is a social worker, but he's a social worker for kids who have magical powers. He kind of decides if they are safe enough to live in society, and if they're not, they get displaced into these orphanages. They're getting a very peculiar, is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. He gets a very strange case where he has to go to this house by Cerulean Sea, hence the name. And he has to report what he sees in this house. The kids are all very different. We have a garden gnome. We have the son of Lucifer, just like a random mixed bag of magical children. It's so heartwarming. There's a male-male romance in this story, but the romance definitely isn't the focal point of the story. It's more plot-based, and it's more focused on our character coming to the realization that the people that he worked for are not always right. And he's also coming to the realization not to judge people based on how they look, and everything doesn't have to be a strict set of rules and perfectly laid out. It's a very like warm book that is about acceptance and magic and family and love, and I adore it. So if you are reading the Green Creek series, you might as well read this one because we are getting a sequel to this book. I don't remember what the sequel's called. I'll pop it on the screen, but I'm so excited. I think it comes out 2021. Maybe in March. I'll put the release date if we have a release date on the screen. Okay, I need to go to bed. I am tired. Today I did a ton of Halloween looks, but I didn't really like any of them. I don't know if I'm going to post any of them. I'll show you guys. Who knows if I'll post them. I ended up doing like a mermaid look. I'll post that here, right here, so you can see. I did a vampire look. I'll post that here so you can see. What else did I do today? I did 3 looks. What was the 3rd look? Oh, I did like a comic book character. I don't really like them though. Like, I'm really struggling like creatively. Like, I have so many ideas for Halloween looks, but it's been so long since I've done makeup that I feel like everything I do sucks. I'm struggling today, but on the bright side, we have some good books to read, and tomorrow when I wake up, Brothersong by TJ Klune will be on my Kindle. So excited. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I will update you guys when I actually have a reading update. Okay,
I stayed up until midnight so I can read Brothersong. I didn't wait. I was just sitting there thinking like a couple more hours and you can read it. A couple more hours and you can read it. And I literally got to the dedication part and started crying. Dedication says, "For my pack. And I'm like, I love this series so much. Like, I'm already crying just from the dedication. That's how you know how much you love a series. I'm so tired. Everyone in my house is asleep. But I'm reading a book about werewolves because I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait until the morning. So I waited until midnight and it showed up on my Kindle and I was like, yes, please. So here we go.
I'm so tired. I stayed up until 3 o'clock in the morning reading this book. My face is all swollen because I was crying. I read some of the book. I'm not finished. I think I'm like 30% into the book. I would have read more, but again, it was really late and I actually do have to work today. And I was also I was crying. It's so emotional. I love this series so much. I have to work today. I actually have to log in about 30 minutes. Thankfully, I am working from home this week. Someone messaged me on Instagram and they were like, oh, I took the day off so I could read this book. And I was like, dang it. I knew this release was happening and I knew it was a weekday. I should have asked for the day off. But alas, I did not. So here we are. I have to do adult things, which is never fun. Only 30% into the book. It's amazing, just like I expected it to be. I love Carter. I know the book is titled Brothersong, and I know that, but I thought a lot of it was going to be focused on more so Gavin and Carter's relationship, which I knew was going to be angsty because that's just what this series does, right? I was not expecting the emotional connection with Carter and Kelly, them as brothers, and just the love they have for each other and the respect and loyalty and just oh my god, it hurts me. I can't form words. Nothing is more sweet than just like siblings loving each other and protecting each other and willing to do anything for each other. Like, I can really relate to that because I'm so close to my younger siblings. Just like, those are my people, you know? So like, I could really understand how Carter feels. And there's a quote in the beginning of the book and it literally just made me bawl. So this isn't a spoiler, but Carter and Kelly are each other's tethers, and what a tether is, it's something that keeps a wolf in check and keeps them from going feral. It could be a person, it could be a place, it could be like an idea of something. Ever since they were young, they knew that they were going to be each other's tethers, that they would always protect each other and always do anything for each other, and that's just beautiful, okay? I love romance, but that love right there, that family love, there's something so, like, perfect about it. So anyways, there's a quote in the beginning of the book that made me cry, and I'm gonna read it. It's not a spoiler, but it's just soft and it makes me sad and happy at the same time. Carter is kind of like reminiscing on some of his memories with Kelly, and he says, "I have been a big brother for most of my life, and it's the best thing I ever could be. Without you, I would be nothing." Why am I gonna cry? Why am I so emotional right now? This book makes me so emotional. It hurts, but it's so good. Okay. I feel like I could relate to that so much. I have always said that like one of my biggest purpose in life is to be an older sister. A lot of people don't understand that, but to me, my siblings are just like everything. And I feel like one of my purposes, like the reason I'm here, is to be an older sister. Obviously, I'm feeling super emotional right now, but I just had to come on here and say that I think the brother relationship and the family relationship is just so beautiful. And that's what I love about this series, is because like, it's overall just a well-rounded series. I love the romance. I love the side characters. I love the family dynamic. The conflict in the book is super interesting and just perfect. So yeah. So I'm going to pretty much live in this sweater because that's my business. So if you see me in this sweater and these braids the entire video, that's just what's going to happen. Okay, bye. Wow. Just wow. That book was amazing. Like, wow. I don't even have words. Okay, so I just finished the book. It took me like a day to read this book. It feels longer because like time is a construct and I'm filming, but anyways, I just love that book so much. It was emotional. It was so well written. It was just the perfect way to end a series. If it's not obvious enough, I gave this a 5 stars. If I could give it like 10 stars, I totally would. I don't know what book is my favorite from the series. Like, I really love the first book. Like, that's where it all begins. But then Ravensong is also so good. Like, Gordo and Mark are just like my favorite couple, and they're so angsty. But this book was perfect. Like, I don't think I would change a single thing about this book. This book was truly so much more than just Gavin and Carter's relationship. It was the ending of this series. I think it's really hard to get a last book in the series perfect. When you get connected to a series, you don't want it to end, and you're always felt like you want more or you wish things have gone differently. That was not the case for this book. It was the perfect last book. It answered all your questions. It gave you like that sense of closure and that sense of hopefulness. Being told in Carter's perspective, you really got to feel all of the relationships between the brothers and the people in the pack, and I think that's what my favorite part of the entire book was just the pack and their bond. It's honestly so beautiful. I loved his relationship with his brothers. I already talked about that. It made me cry over and over again. But I also really loved how the other people in the pack came together, and even the people who are humans in the town came together. It just felt like a big old found family. Gavin and Carter were just an amazing couple. Gavin is such a grumpy hero, but it's clear that he has a soft spot for Carter, and that just makes it even more sweet. It was also really sweet that Carter didn't really know what he was doing with like this mate business and, you know, having a romantic relationship with a guy, but that he just knew that like Gavin was it for him, and it was so beautiful, super angsty. I feel like this book was a little less steamy than the first and second book. I feel like the first and second book had more steamy scenes. I feel like even if you're not like a romance reader, you would love this story because it's so much more than just the romance. It's really about like family, pack, love, just, it's good. It's so good. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Absolutely going to read again. So far, I feel like I've tried to stay away from spoilers because the book just released yesterday and I didn't want to spoil too much for you guys, but we're gonna spoil some shit right now. I just need to talk about it. I need to let my emotions out. So, if you haven't read this book, this is the time for me to say goodbye to you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch the rest of this video. I'm warning you, I'm telling you, you can't blame me if you get spoiled. Okay, spoiler time. Oh my god, the ending, guys. The ending hurt me so bad. I really was scared, like scared. I was not sure if they were going to kill a main character. The entire book, I was like, oh my god, okay, someone has to die. There has to be a sad part of this book. Like, some shit has to go down. But who is he gonna kill? And in my head, I was thinking, like, which characters, if they died, was I going to stop reading the book? Because if some characters died, I was going to be done. Like, it was going to be game over for me. And I was trying to think, like, which characters wouldn't I care if he killed? And there was none. Like, I love all of them. So the ending with that whole Ox thing, like, wanting to sacrifice himself, guys, he had me going there for a second. I really thought he was going to kill Ox. And I was like, no. Like, no. Ox is my favorite character. And I know it all began with Ox, and it kind of just comes so full circle with it ending with Ox and Joe and the Bennett brothers. But they couldn't kill him. I wasn't prepared for that. The ending was so perfect, though, how Ox was willing to sacrifice himself for the pack, and then the pack was willing to sacrifice everything for him. That was so sweet and perfect. Like, the way TJ Klune wrote that whole scene, I was sobbing, but it was divine. It was like probably the most well-written scene I've read in my entire life. But I was scared. They had me going. I had to skip a couple pages real quick to make sure that Ox wasn't going to die, because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if TJ Klune was like a bad bee and was just going to kill off the main character. I didn't know. But I'm really happy that he did it, because I would have been so sad. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if everybody has their mates and Joe is like by himself? That would have been heart-wrenching. Okay, that was my only spoiler for this video. I tried to keep it really spoil-free, but I had to talk about that because I literally was texting like my friends who had already read the book, and I was like, does Ox die? Like, I need to know. I needed to know. But it's all good. We're all good. I cried, but it was like a happy cry. Loved the ending. You know what I also loved? I loved how TJ Klune writes flawed characters. Like, Thomas is mentioned a lot in this book in particular. He was an alpha, he was a father, he was a brother, he was a mate, but he also made a lot of mistakes, but they still loved him for it. And TJ Klune really writes flawed characters that you still love so well. So yes, if you guys have watched this whole video of me ranting and crying, thank you. I don't know. Today and yesterday, I've just been feeling a little stressed and overwhelmed and defeated by life. Like, I don't really know how to explain it. So reading a series like this has really just kind of giving me that boost of like energy and just feeling good, and it was like my recharge, if that makes sense. So that's why this series is so important to me. Reading is so important because sometimes I'm really just like super overwhelmed, and reading a good book can just kind of like change that. So I've ranted enough. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the absolute world to me. Hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy. If you guys would like to chat about this book some more, please comment down below or message me. I love talking about books, especially with you guys, because you guys are awesome. So I'm ranting. I'm totally ranting. I need to just end this video. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!